Hey yo, football fans, it's another great year. Fantasy football fiends, grab your beer. Giving you the best draft tips for all your picks. Starts and sits to the waiver wire fix. From my drafts galore to stats that's hardcore. Triple F does it all, have y'all screaming more. So sit back, relax, let the experts prevail. JT Magnum, Siggy Guns never fail. What's up, fantasy football fans? My name is JT Magnum along with Siggy Guns, and welcome to our Fantasy Football Fiends fantasy show. Today we're going to be talking about our top breakout players and also some rookie impact players, rookie stars basically, who we think are going to make an impact in the NFL this year. So let's get right into it, and let's talk about the breakout players. Who do you think, who's your breakout quarterback this year?
My breakout quarterback this year has to be Andrew Luck. He has Hakeem Nicks. He has Trent Richardson for the full year now. He has T.Y. Hilton, who I already talked about being, having a breakout year. Reggie Wayne is back. He's going to have an offense that's stacked.
He's an arsenal.
And there's not really a way to exactly, an arsenal. He's going to have what a lot of teams can only hope for. Look, Tom Brady, for all his great stats, he's had a subpar unit this last couple of years in regards to receivers. And yet he's found a way. Now, I can just imagine now when Andrew Luck, with nobody last year really except for T.Y. Hilton, it seemed, when Darius Hayward-Bay was your next guy, he still had a really good season. I think this year, though, he's going to have a breakout season, 4,500-plus yards, 35-plus touchdowns. This is going to be the year that he should be a top quarterback, right up there with the Peyton Mannings and the Drew Breeses. That's how bold I'm going to go ahead and put this.
Yeah, I think he's going to be an awesome player this year. It's going to be hard to stop that Indianapolis offense, and especially with if they even start to get any kind of running game, it's going to be difficult to stop that pass because Andrew Luck, don't forget, he can run.
Yeah,
he averaged just as much as some of the running quarterbacks this year. Or last year, I should say.
It's gonna be the greatest show on turf, or whatever.
Yeah,
it's gonna be. It might be back to what the old Peyton Manning Colts days. It's gonna look like that. It should, anyways. On paper, it looks like it's gonna be that kind of season. It's gonna be fun to watch. So I think that he's gonna have a breakout season.
Yeah, my breakout player is none other than my own favorite team, of course, quarterback Colin Kaepernick. And the reason why I'm choosing him, because usually with their offense and the way they do things, I don't like to pick him usually because they just run the ball so much. But with Anquan Bolden, Michael Crabtree, Stevie Johnson, Bruce Ellington, Brandon Lloyd, Vernon Davis, Vance McDonald, Frank Gore, and Carlos Hyde running that ball, I don't know how in God's name you're gonna stop San Francisco's offense this year. You're gonna he has the most weapons at his disposal that I've ever seen out of a San Francisco team in a long time. Complete nothing but amazing. Every one of those receivers have had 1,000-yard seasons pretty much, or they were former Pro Bowlers or rising stars in Crabtree. But my goodness, they all can run routes. They all have different ways that they get open. So they're all basically, they're not the same. Any one of them, like Bolden's tough. Bolden, he muscles his way to the ball. He can make any catch. Crabtree's like more finesse, route running. He gets open. He's very physical in the run game. He can block. Bruce Ellington's all speed. He runs great routes. He's a rookie. Brandon Lloyd gets open, makes acrobatic catches. He can go up and get any ball. It's like, and Stevie Johnson, excellent route runner, doesn't have the greatest of hands. I've seen in Buffalo he'd drop a few passes, but I mean, regardless, he's all of them can play slot or outside. And then you got Vernon Davis. It's just gonna be. If Colin Kaepernick doesn't have a breakout season, then I don't know how he must. Then he sucks because it's just not with those kind of weapons. You gotta be able to do something with it. So I'm looking for him to get probably a good 500 yards rushing again, because they're gonna let him run. They finally said they're gonna let him loose. They don't care. Let him go. And you've seen what happens when he takes off. The guy can fly. He did it against Seattle. In Seattle, ran for 130 yards. He was the team's offensive rushing. So if the sky's the limit for him. Hopefully he can do the things he needs to do. But I see him being my breakout player. Who's your breakout running back?
Breakout running back. That is going to have to be I know at first I was talking about a little bit on Chris Johnson the last show, but this time I'm gonna go Doug Martin because a lot of people already gave up on him. He was this is another reason why Ed Lacy's gonna fall. But I'm telling you, that sophomore jinx really does it just pop out of nowhere. Doug Martin suffered from it last year. He got hurt. He wasn't having that good of a season because of it. I mean, not because of it, but even before the injury. But I think now, whenever you got a team with Vincent Jackson, Josh McCown, just a real quarterback now, which I think he did real good for Chicago. And like I said earlier, he distributes the ball everywhere. You're going to see Mike Evans, the rookie that they got, and Vincent Jackson. You're going to have Doug Martin healthy. Then with Josh McCown under center, I think Doug Martin you're going to see Matt Forte-esque type of production from Doug Martin. He can rush, he can catch, he can do anything that some of these top backs were doing. He was projected to be one of the top running backs last year, and now everybody kind of giving up on him. But I think with this team right now, Tampa Bay's actually might be a sleeper team overall. They're actually pretty complete on offense and balanced, and I think Doug Martin, if he bounces back from his injury, he should have a real good season.
Yeah, my guy is going to be Ben Tate from Cleveland. This is a guy that, remember, he was the starter in Houston and went down, got hurt. Arian Foster took over, and then the rest is history. Arian Foster now is the main dude. So Ben Tate has been always in the background. He's always had some injury problems, but he's healthy. He's on a team now that needs a running back. They have no running back at all whatsoever. And he's a really good physical speed guy. And with that, depending on Josh Gordon coming back and things like that, we'll see if, how much Cleveland is passing the ball. But I see Ben Tate running a lot. So minus, hopefully he doesn't get injured, but I see him definitely getting over 1,000 yards and close to maybe double-digit touchdowns this year. So definitely a breakout player, as he hasn't done that yet. So who's your breakout wide receiver?
Breakout wide receiver. All right, so this is going to be kind of one that a lot of people saw happen last year. He broke out, but I think he had a lot more left in the tank that he didn't get to display, and that's going to be Antonio Brown, Pittsburgh. He was a monster, and he came out of nowhere, especially the last half of the season, where if you were playing against anybody with him and you're on the fantasy side, all of a sudden you're thinking, oh, well, I'm up by 10, 15 points. He only has Antonio Brown. Oh, this should be an easy win, right? Antonio Brown was killing everybody, and it depends on how your league is set up. If you have points per reception, he had 110 receptions last year, 1,500 yards or 1,499, 8 touchdowns, and a lot of that was out of nowhere. And I think now that he's going to be the man by himself there with Ben Roethlisberger probably as healthy as he's been for a while anyways, I think that it's going to be even more production. You're going to look at somebody that might even be able to get 12 to 15 touchdowns in the end zone and a lot more yards, especially if Le'Veon Bell comes back and they have a good, solid run game to go with it. I think he's just going to be an awesome, awesome receiver.
Yeah, he's a very fast dude. Very speedy wideout. My my breakout player is going to be Randall Cobb. Everybody's been talking about this guy for the last 2 years, and every time he gets injured. So I think this is the season where he finally stays healthy, and he gets a lot of grabs, gets over 1,000 yards, and he complements actually Jordy Nelson. So, and everybody knows that Jordy Nelson and Aaron Rodgers, they're capable of having 3 1,000-yard receivers. So I see Randall Cobb being, a 1,300 yards, 8 to 9 touchdown kind of guy. So we'll see what happens. But I think if he stays healthy, he's definitely going to break out this year. And he runs the ball a lot, too. They give him a lot of end arounds, a lot of carries.
Oh, yeah, they do. And he's going to take it away from Lacy.
So who's your tight end breakout player?
It has to be, even though I picked him as a bust, with Cam Newton, it has to be Greg Olsen as the tight end that should get the most production. Now, there's going to be some new faces there. Obviously, I think every single receiver that Carolina had last year is gone. All of them. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a team actually have to where every single one of their receivers is not on the same team the very next year, and that's what's happening here. So there's going to be some chemistry issues. There's going to be some, things they have to work out. We see it all the time when a new receiver goes to a new team. And the one guy that's still there, and he had a pretty solid year, is Greg Olsen. And I just think that he can have an even better year, knowing that they're going to have work out some chemistry issues with the receivers. So Cam Newton, that's going to be a safety blanket. He's going to be dumping the ball off a lot to Greg Olsen, in my opinion. And I just think this guy can, if he had 800 yards and 6 touches last year, he has the potential of getting 1,000. It's going to be kind of like a Jason Witten type of season when Romo needed him for his safety blanket a few years ago. So breakout tight end right there.
My breakout tight end is going to be Delanie Walker from Tennessee because they don't have a quarterback, and whoever does play quarterback for them is going to be giving him the ball because I just don't see that offense really doing much now that, I mean, who do they even have on offense other than Kendall Wright and who else? So
I'll tell you who else in a minute.
Yeah, I'm not a really big fan of their pretty much what they have going on. And he's another, just like Greg Olsen. He was in the offense last year, so we'll see what he does this year. And he's probably one of the healthier ones on the team. So who's your breakout defense for the year?
Breakout defense of the year is going to be the one that everybody thought would break out last year, especially if you watch Hard Knocks. It's going to be the Cincinnati Bengals. They still had a very good season, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't at the potential that everybody thought that it was going to be. They had some injuries there. Obviously, they lost what's his name? I forgot his name. One of the front guys, which is one of their best players. So with everybody healthy, everybody looking like they're healthy anyways, Cincinnati's defense, seeing that they still did solid last year, they left a lot of production that they could have had, and I think this year they're going to have it. So I have them being the breakout defense. They might even overtake, teams like Kansas City and Carolina. If those defenses were up there, Cincinnati should easily be up there with that team that they have, those defensive players. I'll pick Cincinnati.
My team is the Packers. They have Dwight Freeney. They have Clay Matthews. Or not Dwight Freeney. They have Julius Peppers, Clay Matthews. They have they re-signed Sam Shields. The defense is coming together very well. They have solid players on defense now. They're healthy, and I just see this team getting a lot of sacks, a lot of turnovers again like they were before. And they can't get any worse than they were last year. Last year they were bad. They were giving up so many. I mean, Colin Kaepernick threw for 442 yards against them, or 400 and something yards against them. He didn't even have another 300-yard game the rest of the year. And he had a bunch of under 200-yard games. So that tells you right there how bad Green Bay's defense was last year. So they can't have nothing but better this year. So I see them breaking out though this year on defense. So let's talk about rookies. There's a lot. There's a lot of different rookies we could talk about, but we're going to talk about 3 each. Who you think is going to be a really one of the really high impact rookies this year?
The first one is obvious in my opinion. Sammy Watkins. I mean, Buffalo went all the way up to draft him for a reason. They traded away Stevie Johnson. They needed a receiver. Obviously, they have nobody else, and so Sammy Watkins is going to come in and is expected to be the number one right away. And with E.J. Manuel, who did pretty good, his season last year, I think Sammy Watkins as a rookie has every potential, every chance, as long as he stays healthy, obviously, to just be even if it's a solid year. 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns is not out of the realm of possibility. And for a rookie, that's great because you're hoping to get that from your third receiver anyways in your fantasy team. So Sammy Watkins, if a lot of people aren't picking him high, he could be a steal. For I'll say in the mid rounds if everybody's slipping on the receivers, I think that he's going to have a real good production for a rookie. It's going to be great.
I like Brandin Cooks. Here's a guy that went to New Orleans. Of all the teams in the world, New Orleans. New Orleans is going to pass the ball lots. They find ways to get you the ball, especially if you're a speed guy. You see what they did with Darren Sproles. You see how Drew Brees loves to throw deep. What better than to have a guy that ran a 4.33 at the combine than to throw this guy? Or he might have ran a sub 4.3 or 4.30, but regardless, That's blazing fast. Just so you know,
Oh, yeah.
Deshaun Jackson, everybody knows how fast he is. He ran a 4.4 at the combine. So when this guy's running 4.3s, that's just ridiculous. Chris Johnson ran a 4.2 what? 4.27 or something? 4.29?
Yeah, yeah.
He's one of the fastest. I think he is the fastest combine runner ever. Was Chris Johnson's time. So anyways, that you can't do anything with speed like that. It's hard to cover that, and I just see them using them all different kind of ways in Seattle. But New Orleans' offense is going to be ridiculous with him, and he might get 1,000 yards. In that offense, it's almost 1,000 yards is given if you're healthy.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, especially with Drew Brees back.
Yeah. So who's your second breakout rookie?
It's going to be one of your guys. It's going to be, man, he just looked so good yesterday, and obviously he's the number 2 back already. There's nobody else LaMichael James maybe, but
no.
Because they got rid of Kendall Hunter, right?
Yeah, LaMichael James was hurt for a month. Kendall Hunter no, they didn't get rid of him. He got hurt, and they waived him, but he cleared waivers, so they signed him. They're going to put him back on injured reserve.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, that leaves Carlos Hyde. That's the rookie we're talking about, Carlos Hyde. He's just going to he even looks like Frank Gore in the pictures. So
yeah, he looks like Frank Gore. He looks like a bigger Frank Gore.
Yeah, he looks like a bigger
runs
Frank
just
Gore.
like him.
He's going to be I have a feeling, especially if he's faster, if he's stronger, and if he's going to be showing that he's a lot better in the end zones, because I got a feeling that Frank Gore is losing a little bit on the goal line, because last year I kind of saw that also. You're the 49er fan. Did you see that he didn't have the same power to get into the end zone as much as he had in the past?
I just felt like they ran a different kind of offense in the goal line. When they got to the goal line, they were just running weird offenses. But Frank Gore has definitely lost a little bit of a step, obviously. He's not the same player he was when he was younger. But this guy is going to get a lot of goal line carries. You're right. He's 6 foot, 230 pounds, and the guy can fly. He can run.
Exactly.
He's got great instincts. He's not only
bigger, he's faster. In my opinion, this is why I pick him, as an impact rookie. If Frank Gore is the competition, and Frank Gore, he's been in the league a long time now, I just think eventually, especially, it depends on how the season goes, obviously, but if you're looking at a season where Frank Gore's production doesn't matter as much, and it's just worth putting Hyde in there just to see what he does, or if the season is a bust and they need to he's going to take over, in my opinion, sometime in the season. So right away, that's going to mean if for rookie impacting, if you're going to draft a rookie, this is somebody you want to handcuff.
I actually think he's going to start.
Down the line, he might be real good.
He's going to start this year. I actually, if he looked like the way he looked yesterday, along with with Frank Gore, I think Frank Gore, he's going to start. Carlos Hyde is going to end up starting. I think some point this season, Carlos Hyde might start, because he's just he's too. If he's that good and he's running that hard, he's too good to not have him starting or not have him playing. Either that or he's going to literally split carries with Frank Gore. So
exactly, and then it's going to get to the point where if you're splitting it and he's not, and then Frank Gore is behind, Hyde is just going to be taking over, period. And I think that might happen. Maybe instead of spelling Gore, they might spell Hyde with Gore eventually. Yeah. This season, that's why I pick him as a high impact rookie because of that. He has the potential to be a number 1 pack.
Yeah.
In San Francisco.
Now, my second rookie impact player is going to be DeAnthony Thomas from the Kansas City Chiefs. He's going to be an impact because he's going to help their defense score touchdowns, being defense and special teams, because you saw him yesterday. He ran a punt return. He got smashed. He gets hit by his own player, and another dude still turns around, does a 360 or a 180, turns around and just hauls to the end zone. Nobody could catch him. The guy always makes plays. He did it at Oregon constantly. And with that offense, Andy Reid offense, Alex Smith run offense, where everything's a dump off, everything's a screen pass, everything's quick slants. You use a guy like that, shifty back. You saw what they did with Jamal Charles last year and the other running backs for Kansas City. Everybody who caught a screen pass was just taken off. So with this guy's speed and the way he plays, they're going to utilize him almost every single play, throwing quick passes to him. So I see him getting a lot of yards this year just on screen passes alone, or quick hitches, or quick slants. He's that kind of player, and like I said, he's going to score a point. He's going to get a few kickoff returns and punt returns this year for that defense or for the special teams.
I can see it. I can see it.
So who's your third rookie?
And my third rookie, another running back, and this is who, you were asking, who does Tennessee have? Bishop Sankey is a rookie. He was he's already in the depth charts, number 2 behind Sean Green. And Sean Green, and I know Sean Green a lot because he used to be a Jet. Whenever he was good, he was all right. The thing is, though, he has a problematic knee. His knees are messed up, and his right knee, anyways. And I just think this guy is just going to take over. And Tennessee's going to be such a bad team that you're going to see a lot of it's. At least they look like they're going to be a bad team. It looks like this season is not going to be what they hope for, I imagine. So you're going to see a lot of players just to see what they can do. And, a lot of the rookies are already playing a lot. You already talked about the receiving core is shaky. You already talked about the quarterback situation shaky. So if there's going to be one spotlight, it's going to be Bishop Sankey, the running back. He should be the number 1 starter probably by week 2, 3 even. And he might be the lone bright spot of that team. And certainly if that's all you have, you're going to showcase him a lot. So I think he's going to have a real good year for a rookie. And I got a feeling that he might even be worth putting in your flex spot or, as your third running back. That kind of potential.
My rookie, my third rookie is going to be Andre Williams from the Giants. Now, they've already had one injury on David Wilson. He retired. They have Rashad Jennings.
Right?
They have Brandon Jacobs back, but we all know that he's pretty much washed up. Peyton Hillis is there. They got a stable of running backs, but this guy is basically the reincarnation of what's-his-face, who went to Indianapolis, Ahmad Bradshaw. He's basically a big, fast Ahmad Bradshaw. So I like this kid. He was running hard the other day when I saw him playing, and I just with the running backs that they have now, I just don't see them not using him. I mean, I feel like he's going to end up being the starter. Maybe not week 1, but he might get close to 700, maybe 600, 700 yards and a few touchdowns after he takes over the starting position. I think he will be a starter before the end of the year, though. That's for sure.
Yeah, it depends on Rashad Jennings. I mean, he did real good for Oakland. But yeah, I definitely can see, him being used a lot for sure.
Yeah, the problem with Rashad Jennings is the injuries.
Yeah,
he's another guy that gets hurt constantly.
And obviously, a lot of people are going to be wondering, well, what about Johnny Manziel? Now, out of quarterbacks, your Teddy Bridgewaters, your Johnny Manziels, your what's his name for? Oh, man, I can't remember that other quarterback that was projected to be up there. But Johnny Manziel would probably be the only one, in my opinion, that has a shot at really doing good because they have Jordan Cameron, and they have some pieces there. You talked about Ben Tate to ease the pressure off of Manziel, and then Manziel's gonna be somebody that you're gonna get points from rushing the ball because that's Manziel's game. Manziel is a runner. He's gonna try to take his college skills into the NFL. A lot of people try that and it doesn't pan out. We don't know what's gonna happen with Manziel, but if anything, the bright side, he might be successful, and if he is, then he'll probably be the quarterback that would be worth taking a shot rookie wise. Teddy Bridgewater with Minnesota. I know you said Patterson's going to have a good season, but I just think it's still going to be the AP show. I think his job is just going to be don't turn over the ball and hand it over to Adrian Peterson. So
yeah. Yeah, I like Manziel. I just don't see him being like it's like that whole Tebow thing with him. Like people want to see the guy start. So until he starts and he does bad. And then all of a sudden they don't want to see him start. But right now they have Hoyer. Hoyer did well. There was nothing wrong with Hoyer last year. You got and from what I hear he's doing really well now. So we'll see what happens,
it's gonna be what happens though. The fans are going to
demand it. Yeah, if they suck, then Manziel will probably be started by the end of the year.
Exactly, that's going to happen. I think that would be the real thing right there because Brian Hoyer is not like he's Tom Brady or anything like that. So You might as well, especially if the team sucks. If they're losing anyways, why not throw the guy that everybody wants to see play at that point?
Yeah.
We'll see. Other notable rookies that you should consider: Mike Evans. I talked about him a little bit, wide receiver for Tampa Bay. He should have a real good season. Do you have any other rookies that you think should have some season that maybe nobody...
Actually, the guy I like a lot, and I wanted the 49ers to draft him, was Martavis Bryant. He plays for Pittsburgh. And he is a big-bodied, fast wideout. Like, I'm talking fast for his body size. And he played opposite of Sammy Watkins. And that's a guy, if you can get that guy to play good, and Pittsburgh's a perfect team because they have an Antonio Brown who's going to demand a lot of coverage. And that Martavis Bryant, he might break out as well this year just because of that coverage on Antonio Brown. So I don't know who all the Pittsburgh receivers are, but I'm telling you, this kid is a baller. So we'll see what happens with him. But
his competition, I think, right now is Lance Moore and Marcus Wheaton. I don't think certainly Brian's talent should be ahead of them.
Justin Hunter from Tennessee is another one as well, but I don't know. But no quarterback. Jake Locker, is it going to be just him, or is there going to be Charlie Whitehurst? Like who's going to be there? Who's going to be the guy? And are they going to be able to get them the ball? So I don't know. We'll see with that. But I mean, these are it sucks because these are good wide receivers, but we don't know if you don't know who's getting them the ball. Yeah. So well, I mean, we'll see. I don't know about any other running backs, really, like, because it seems like the running back positions are pretty much taken in the NFL. Like, you know who your running backs are, but
there's been some chirping about the guy for what's his name. Man, I forgot his name. The one in St. Louis, Trey Mason. There you go, Trey Mason. They were saying that if because Zach Stacy got hurt a couple of times, right, last year.
Yeah.
So, there could be somebody that can potentially be up there. But these running backs right now, except for the ones we mentioned earlier, like Carlos Hyde and what's his name, Stanky. They're mostly just going to be handcuffs, that you might want, or picks you want late if you even draft them. But if somebody gets hurt, that's wherever you see some value in some of these other running backs.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well that wraps up the breakout players and our rookies. If you have any comments, leave them in the comment section. If you have any players that you may like, or if you have any questions, please leave in the comment section. Feel free to always tweet us. I'm at Optimus Magnum. That's at Siggy V on Twitter. And stay tuned for our positional rankings. We're going to have our top quarterbacks, our top running backs, our top receivers, our top tight ends, our top defenses. Like we said before, we don't deal with kickers. We pick them last. So I might leave kicker rankings in the description. But for now, stay tuned for the picks. And we're also going to do another mock draft this year, along with probably a draft strategy show and some of the best value picks that we can find. So stay tuned for mostly all that. I am getting married on August 16th, so we're trying to record all this as fast as we can and do as much, put as much content out for you as we can. But we're still watching preseason. I like to look at the players. I like to watch the teams in preseason before I decide on how my rankings, because we don't want to give you somebody next to they're injured. True. So all this stuff is subject to change because of injuries and things that might happen. So we'll see what happens. But that's it. You got anything you want to add?
No, congratulations.
Thanks.
That's about it.
All right, for Fantasy Football Fiends, Siggy Guns, and JT Magnum, we out. Peace.
Peace.